Hey, welcome to Creepy Culture. It's Jen. Thank you guys for being here. Today I have Josh with SquatchTopic P.A, and I'm real excited to have him on because I always learn so much stuff from him. So today he's going to be talking about hermetic vibration, and whatever else he wants to talk about is fine with me. So I'm going to bring Josh out. Hey, Josh.
Howdy doodle, Squatch friends and cryptid enthusiasts.
Yes. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, buddy.
Um, Thank you so much for coming on. I'm real excited to learn about this. And don't forget, you got to talk to me like I'm one of your kids so I understand it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. So you can just go at it. I'm ready.
So, class, today's topic is hermetic vibration.
I love it.
Okay. Um, Pretty much is a lot of people who study the cryptid field research, they notice what a lot considered the woo factor. You know, that's where things get all creepy. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't realize that, like, a lot of it, actually, a whole lot of it, is all based on hermetic vibration, and it's not physical. You know what I mean? That's where you're going in from the infrasound. You got the where your equipment drains, which is oscillation. Your what else? Orbs, the cloaking factors. A lot of this stuff is all based on hermetic vibration, all the way down to the very tree structures that people see and confuse as territorial markers. So, yeah, I guess that's what we're going to go over for today.
That's awesome because I've been trying to learn about it. And as far as I know, you're really good about explaining stuff that's kind of complicated. So I'm ready.
Well, I get OCD, man. It's like, it's like, how do they do that? And in order to learn all this, I had to go back into a lot of ancient manuscripts and books. And I got a little spider on me. I had to
I'm
go
like,
through a lot of different ways to learn the things that I've learned, including my field data and research that corresponds in with the things that I've learned over time. You know what I mean? I got 19 years in the field. I'm not
mhm.
I'm not one of these dudes who's only been out there for a year or two and claims to know everything. I mean, 19 years in, I still don't know everything. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? I'm no expert.
Right?
But what I do know and what I have learned, what I'm willing to share.
I don't like that.
So I
This thing
figured a
kept
way we
tossing
could
me
do
about
this.
it. Yeah. Sorry.
So I'll let you pick a subject of different things that may pertain to the uh, vibrational aspects, and then I'll elaborate on it. And I even got my handy dandy whiteboard with me, so I can put it down on there.
Love the whiteboard. I'm ready.
Professor Squatch.
Heck yeah. I'm ready.
Okay, so what do you want to hit?
The hermetic vibration stuff is what I need to learn
Okay,
about.
what part of it would you like to hear first?
Um, that has to do with frequency and stuff, right? Okay. Just
That pertains to frequency shifts that you're cloaking, your orb, your even time loss, portals generating. It has to do with it. Tree structures. I mean, there's so many different things in the field that go along with it. You name it.
okay. I need to learn about all that. So you just start wherever's easiest for you.
Okay, I'm going to get up and go to my little whiteboard.
Go to the whiteboard. Let's get it.
Okie day. Let me get my little camera ready here. Okie dokie. No, that needs to come up a little bit higher. There we go. Sorry, my ugly mug was in the picture there. Everybody wants to see
Oh,
this ugly little dude. Okie
we
dokie.
all want to see Josh. We want to hear about this.
All right. we'll start with the basic stuff, okay?
Okay.
Before we get into the most technical stuff. So, a lot of things that you hear most frequently would be the infrasound. I mean, we could start there. Infrasound. Everybody knows about the bad juju of infrasound, right?
Yep.
So,
It's not
well,
pleasant.
we'll have this little ugly drawing of a squatch here. I'm not an artist. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to make you bigger. Just a second. Okay.
Yeah, I'm only 5'4". It's kind of hard. Here, let me bring this a little closer.
I'm shorter than that, so hold on. I'm trying to fix this. Why does it make me bigger and not you bigger? I'm trying to make you bigger. Well, that's as big
There you
as
go.
I. Okay.
Okay. So you'll have your little squatch there. Well, actually, a big squatch. And then you'll have the little man right here. Boop, be-doop, be-doop, be-doop. Woo, woo. Okay, so we're going to give him a face, okay? Because, I'm sorry, I'm in a perky mood today.
You're
So,
good.
the way the infrasound works here is us as humans, we are low vibrational beings. Okay. So we emit a low vibrational field, whereas the Sasquatches, the crawlers, the dogmen, they emit very high vibrational. That's why whenever they would come into your space, if you have a Tascam audio going, you'll hear the glitching in the audio.
Josh,
But we're
the
not
audio
talking
is
about that
cutting
at the moment. We're talking about the infrasound. So infrasound is roughly 19 hertz frequency, and it could drop down to an 18.5 hertz. When you're getting into the 18.5 hertz, you're having some bad issues. That's when you're going to be pooping yourself. That's whenever all kinds of bad juju's occurring with you. When you're in the 19 hertz range, you you're exhibiting fear and just don't know.
Josh. Oh, man. Okay.
But if you are being targeted in a negative factor, okay, that's when they're going to drop down to the 19 hertz range. So, what happens during this period? Your eyes resonate at 20 hertz. That is the resonating frequency.
Is he frozen or am I frozen? Somebody tell me in the chat. I'm frozen.
Your organs all vibrate. So, your drop, you start vibrating your lungs, your liver, your kidneys, your heart. Everything is vibrating. Okay? Everything in there vibrates. And your body is not, you're physically not seeing what you're experiencing. So, what happens is the amygdala, which is in your brain, your amygdala doesn't know how to perceive this. And as the vibration goes into your vagus nerve, it's up to your amygdala which causes an automatic fear factor that makes you want to leave an area. You're induced in fear. You don't know why, but you just have to get out. That is your vagus nerve sending the signs to your amygdala that these vibrations are not normal that you are feeling, and it's the infrasound side effect that's occurring here. Now, also, what happens along the ways when you're dealing with the infrasound frequencies of all this is not only is your body vibrating, you're getting all these mixed signals sent to your brain. Your body doesn't know how to react. So at this point, you're also having what is called the Oz effect. Now, the Oz effect is where you go into what we call an auditory null zone. Now, this explains where you're in the woods. You've been in the field, you know this. When you're in the field, everything goes quiet. You don't hear the birds, you don't hear the bugs, you don't even hear the water. You hear nothing, right?
Yep.
The sound is all there still. It is all still there happening around you. So what's happening is you're getting this Oz effect where you're in null zone, which is the 60-foot radius of this being emitting these frequencies. So what happens is the vibration of the Oz effect frequency literally vibrates your ears even, and it causes an auditory shutdown. So while the forest is still making all the sounds that it's making in the natural ambience, you're no longer hearing it because your auditory system is literally just overwhelmed and shut down. That's how that works. And that's pretty much the basis of how infrasound works altogether. I mean, it's all based on a vibration, the way it shakes up your system and sends these signals that your body does not recognize, your eyes do not see. So this is the effect that you get from all of that, and including the Oz effect of the null zone, to where you're, man, my neighbor's doing this door, to where you're dealing with the silencing of the area you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Did that make sense?
It did. You were just cutting out a tiny bit, but you're good now.
Are you able to hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine now. It seemed like it smoothed itself
Okay.
out. So it's
Okie
good.
dokie.
So it has to be 60 feet away.
Okay. So yeah, that's
60.
yeah. The standing wave of infrasound runs 60 feet, and the thing is with this standing wave, this will penetrate through trees. This will penetrate through rock. This will penetrate through steel. If you are within that circumference, you're not escaping it.
Okay. I didn't know all that. That's pretty cool.
Do you have any questions on infrasound?
I do. How come you get sick like a couple days after you've been hit with it?
The reason you get sick, I'm going to sit down for a minute before I explain this part. The reason you get sick is because think of a person who has a seizure. The after effects of a seizure, because of their body convulsing, their body has to re-regulate itself. So your organs, your brain, your eyes, everything has been vibrating at a rate that it is not meant to vibrate at. So what happens is this causes a draining effect, but it also leads into an oscillation effect as well, to where being that you are a lower vibrational being and you have a higher vibrational being in its presence, the vibrational frequencies tries to oscillate and speed up to match the resonance of the higher vibrational field, almost in a sense like a stream going to a river to a lake or an ocean. The frequency waves are always going to go to the bigger wave and pull in.
I got it. I get it.
Any more questions on that?
No, I get that part. Now I need you to explain the other part, the cloaking and the invisible stuff and
right, well, before we get to that, though, since I brought in oscillation and the way your body reacts, drains your body, your energy, and you have to recover from that. That directly pulls into the same factors with your equipment. You notice when you're
Oh.
out there and all of a sudden your equipment shuts off, your batteries drain super quick. All right, let me
Yep.
wipe this board off
Okay.
and I'll get into that part. Because that actually goes right along with it. Sorry.
You're fine.
This ain't like whenever I'm making videos and I can stop the video and boop, 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 and then do the next pick. So I'll leave the Squatch up there. All right, so now you have your equipment, your camera, your night vision device, whatever you're using, okay? So you have your battery. There you go. That's a janky looking battery, ain't it? So when you have your battery here, you go in with a full battery, and say you have 98% battery and whatnot, and all of a sudden your it goes dead. You still hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's happening in this situation here is your battery starts to oscillate. Okay. It speeds up what's going on here because this is a lower frequency as this is your higher frequency. Energy. Energy is frequency. So when your battery begins to oscillate, it overworks itself. And as it's trying to match the resonant energy around it, the energy begins to pull. It pulls right into the one sucking it out, feeding into his vibrational field. And that's what causes your equipment to drain. It's called oscillation. That's why I had to go right into that, because it just like your body, your equipment will do the same thing, except in the result of your equipment, it'll die faster or just straight out shut down.
Yeah. I've had that happen.
Any questions on that one?
Nope,
Oh, I know you have. That sucks when that happens.
It
Now,
does.
see, some people might ask, like, well, if this is what happens, then why don't your car battery do it, right? That's a good question. Well, your car, your battery is underneath your hood. It's encased in the metal, you're right. So in a sense, that is giving a protective layer. In a sense, unlike the infrasound frequency, the oscillation effect, just rather it being like an EMP, the metal framing of your vehicle actually would work almost like a Faraday cage.
Oh, okay. I get it.
In a sense. But whenever your cameras are out, they're encased in thin plastic. That battery is more exposed and susceptible to what's going on there.
Dan had a question. He wanted to know if the oscillation is 60 feet also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is all within that range of frequency. So if this being is standing within 60 feet of you, he could affect your equipment and he could affect your body.
I'm sorry, that was Denny, not Dan. I'm sorry. Sorry, Denny. Okay.
So that's how that works. I had to throw the battery part in there because it all goes around the same deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then another things that go along with this would be time slips. Have you ever experienced that? You go into woods, you think you're in there 10 minutes, you've been in there 3 hours. Yep. How does that work?
How does it work? Tell us.
I don't know. Tell me. All right, let's get rid of this. Now,
I kind of liked him.
This diagram I'm going to draw is going to suck. I ain't going to lie. When I did vibration, my wife actually drew this one for me. I ain't going to lie. So, We'll have this circle. We'll have this here. This will come down through here. Now, these would be your intersecting time loop areas. So you have your standard time. Everyone thinks time is linear. No, it's not. So when you're out there in the field, what happens is you're on your standard vibrational point, which I'd say would be the center line right here. Okay? So this line right in here would be, that's your normal everyday frequency that you were on. So that's your singular of the bridge, okay? Now, when you step into a higher vibrational frequency, so where you notice it's wider in here, but then as you get down into here or up in here, it's a little more narrow, right? Time is going to react differently for you. So what happens is when you're in these higher vibrational fields, you're still conducting in your real time. You still are. But being that you are exposed to a different vibrational frequency, your time frequency is thrown off of its baseline. So what happens is, you come out the woods, everything seemed normal to you. But then your husband or my wife, for instance, you said you was going to go out there, leave a gift to be down there 10 minutes. You've been down there for 4 hours. What's wrong with you? Can't you tell time? Yeah, I can tell time. I thought I was down there for about 10 minutes. It's been several hours because I stepped into a higher frequency loop that threw the time space out of the normal spectrum of time that regular people would experience in a standard vibrational frequency.
Got it. There's people that
Any
ask
questions on
questions.
that one?
Yeah, Michigan Cryptid wanted to know, is that why we get blob squatch pictures? Because of the
Blob
vibration?
squatches?
Mhm.
The reason we get blob squatch pictures, all right, so you got this beautiful camera and you're like, oh, wow, I saw a squatch. Oh, crap, it's a blob squatch. The reason is because just as they vibrate your body, your internal self, they, damn, man, they also, they vibrate the components in your camera. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The components that go along with your lens is vibrating as well. So whenever you're seeing a picture that you would call a blob squatch, you're not taking a stable photo. It's not stabilized. You're taking a photo from a lens that is being vibrated at the same time as you snap that photo. That's why you get a blob squatch.
Got it.
That's how that works.
And then Dan, this time it's Dan, he wanted to know if cloaking is caused by frequency.
Ooh.
Here we go. Tell you about it.
All right, I got to doodle for a little bit here on this. Now, cloaking's a big one, all right? So, when you're getting into cloaking, all right, we'll get into the tree structures in a minute because that has a big part in all of it. So, when you have your cloaking, the way this would work is you have your standard line, visual field. So, right here, you would have your, that would be your gamma ray. Then I got to think for a minute. As an X-ray. Now these are fields of vision that you can't see. Okay. Then you have your UV, ultraviolet. Then after the UV of the spectrum you can't see, you're going into the IR. And then radio. There's the radio waves. So your vision will cut out at UV and and IR. These other bands, you're not seeing them at all. They don't exist to your vision, okay? So the way this works is your vision. So I have to a little up, I'll get it upside down. We'll have to go this way. So you have a triangle. This is your field of vision. This triangle would be where you have your orange, your reds, your yellows, your greens, all the colors of the spectrum you can see. And it sits finely between your ultraviolet and your infrared. Okay. So what happens is your human sight starts at 450 nanometers up to 600 nanometers. So when you're into your 450 nanometers, that's when you're getting your blues and your blacks. And then when you hit more into the 600 nanometers, that's when you're getting into your browns and your blondes, and colors of that nature. And like say you're looking at their hair, okay? So when they do their shift of vibrational frequency, it's like, do you ever turn a fan on? You're looking at the fan blades, but you turn the fan on and you can't see them no more because of how fast they're moving.
Mm-hmm.
We use that concept for the vibration. Because of the shift of the vibration, it voids it from your viewpoint. So the cloaking shift from your visual point from 450 to 600. Now, when you get into your UV, so I'll draw this down to here. So when you're getting into your UV, your ultraviolet, that is 380 nanometers. When you get into your IR, your infrared, at that point, you're at 750 nanometers. So whenever they do this vibratory shift, what's happening is they're literally shifting their presence to you through their vibrational frequency. They're able to speed up their vibration, all their molecules, to the point where they would either climb down through the UV or up through the IR spectrum and into the radio waves. But when they get to the radio waves, that's whenever they're totally gone. They're like their corpuscles break down, and it's like you're looking at a spirit. They're just gone, like a fart in the wind. So the way this would work, you have what you call your cloaking shift. So whenever they're in your visual plane, which is their dense matter, if they want to shift 10 to the 12th power, I know this is getting a little complicated. So when they shift 10, what did I say? I'm thinking, yeah, 10 to the 12th power.
I was going to say 12th power.
That would shift them down to the ultraviolet. But whenever they want to go towards the soul type of state, they would go from the 10 to the 15th power, which would bring them in to the IR up into the radio frequency to where they are completely invisible. Now, as they are climbing their rates of vibration, I'll come over here and sit down for a minute. As they're climbing their vibrational frequency out of your visual state, that's when you get orbs. Vibration and different frequencies equals color. So as their physical mass breaks down, you're going to have an orb in its place. That's when you get your yellow orbs, your greenish color orbs, your red orbs, your orange orbs, and your blue orbs. Those are all different states of vibrational frequency from that being. So when you actually see an orb, you're seeing a being transferring its energy to a different state of vibration.
That explains why
So that's why a lot of people say,
mm-hmm.
yeah, that's why like you see a blue orb coming in, And the next thing you know, from that blue orb, you will a yellowish color manifestation of a translucent being. You can see the being, but he's like a yellowish translucent state, but you can tell his shape. And he came out of that orb, right? That's why he's lowering his vibrational standpoint to where he's going into the dense matter state rather than an.
That explains a lot. That's why everybody that
It's crazy how they can
encounters,
do that. Like if a human being did this, we would die.
yeah,
We can't do
yeah,
it.
mm-mm. That's
But
like
that
some
goes
weird
along
stuff.
with their genealogy. I mean, people don't realize, you have your flesh and blood people, and then you have your other people who swear up and down that they're divinity. You see, over time, if this species had introduced its bloodline and human genealogy, obviously, not only would it get smaller, it would become more aggressive because of the psychological end of it. And you would also lose its potential for the hermetic principles that they align with. The woo. So, do we have any questions about that? Hello, Kitty.
I have a, I have one about the time slip. Is
Sure.
that the same thing that happens? Is that the same thing that happens when people get abducted by UFOs or aliens?
Well, you figure they are a higher vibrational being.
Okay.
So, whenever you get taken by them, which I'm scared of them, I ain't gonna lie. But
Me too.
when you're in their field of vibration, you're not in the human vibrational field. So, being that you are on that higher vibrational field, you are going to have a time adjustment to what's going on around you. And then when you come out of it, you see that it's been hours. You're going to think to yourself, oh my God, I can't remember what happened. Well, crap, thing that happened. You were just on a different spectrum of time frame because of the vibrational frequency you were exposed to.
All right. I understand that. And that's also why people see orbs before or after, right close to a cryptid encounter too. They see orbs. So that explains that too. This
Right,
makes
because
a
it's
whole
a
lot of
different
sense
forms
to
of
me.
manifestation based on their frequency of vibration.
Right. Well, thank you for explaining that because I understand better now and it makes a lot of sense. Yep. So you can talk about whatever's next. I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Well, since we just talked about cloaking, just talked about orbs and the shift, I mean, we might as well move into think of a pendulum. Some people are like, well, can they stay in that state? Always no. Because as a pendulum swings, as it goes one way, it must come back to the other way, right? For its
Mhm.
balance. If they would remain in their cloaking state constantly, they would burn their own organs out and they would decease.
Oh,
That
wow.
is a fact. Yes. So let me come back over to the board. Do do do.
Let's get it.
Okay. So we
I'm so
went
glad
over
you
the
explained
visual
it where
scale.
I understand. What?
All right, we went over the visual scale. So now
Hmm.
we're gonna take and we're gonna do it like this now. So you have a pendulum. Here's your anchor point. Okay. So we'll say that when your pendulum is swinging, this is your vibration. It's your vibrational frequency. as I said, they cannot remain in that full state at all times. Now, this this would be when the tree structures would come in. Believe it or not, people think they're territorial markers. Heck no. Okay, so you have different types of tree structures. You have your horizontal. So I will, for horizontal, I'll write H. You have your horizontal X. You have your vertical X. You have your TPs. Well, no, we have your Astra, which is a really big structure going different directions that are woven. And then you have the TPs. And then also you have your triangles. Your triangles would be on the ground, okay? They would normally go around. If you go up to a massive tree structure, he's done mowing, yeah. You will constantly notice there's a triangle of down trees on the ground, okay? So your horizontal X structure, this would be your liminal threshold. Your limited threshold is what would be the doorway to create your portal. Those are 9 times out of 10. Your horizontal tree structure is a thinning of the veil to where a portal can be used as a doorway to cross realms from the mirror world to our physical realm.
Oh, wow.
Now, your vertical X structure, it holds a different charge. Now, vertical X is an anchor point. Now, this anchor holds the resonating energy in the area like an antenna, to say, and it allows them to maintain their cloaking and whatnot for a period of time. Because I'll get to the because in a minute. Then you have your Astras, which would be your vibrational battery. So, battery. That's what's going to fuel that node. That's going to send all the different residual energy points all in the different directions of that node.
Yep.
And then you get into your TP. Now, your TP, this is designed to absorb. Whenever you notice that if you use EMF detectors and stuff like that, they'll start peaking. Whenever they
Yep.
cloak and they leave their cloak state, they emit an bioelectrical magnetic discharge. Okay, it's when your electromagnetism comes into play. So, being that immense levels of bioelectricity is being emitted from whenever they change these different forms, these here will absorb them, the TP structures. Okay, so uh, uh, that's basically the best way to say it. They absorb the resonating frequency like an antenna. That way, the whole area isn't being overcharged. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
It dilutes it from the air and absorbs it. And then you have, after that, you would have your triangle. Now, triangles not only complete circuits, this directs the field of energy. That's why you see them around major structures. So these will direct. They will direct the flow of vibrational energy into a specific area or region. So when you have this, let me come on this side over here. I'll draw a little triangle. Okay, so this triangle will be your X structure. Okay, this side here, this side will be the energy. This side represents matter. All right. So what happens is whenever the shifting is occurring, these structures will resonate. So that's why I told Trish during her live stream on TikTok that one day, I told her, set a glass of water on an X structure and put a trail camera aimed at it.
Yep.
When an occurrence happens, that water will vibrate. So
Like an impact tremor.
Different minerals in the ground resonate at different vibrational frequencies, your quartz and so forth. You know what I mean? So you have these particular structures, the point to where they would meet the ground will amplify and work as a tuning fork, so to say, for the resonating energy that is in the ground vibrating. That's why a lot of people who really hardcore study their stuff knows that these structures will vibrate. And that's what's happening. So you have your matter, you have your vibratory energy. So this here is what will coincide in with this, the vibrating energy, to allow portals to open. But the way that would work, I'm gonna have to use some rubbing alcohol on this later. But the way the portals work, now we know how to specify what in the woods. You have to take this into consideration. How do they work? How do they work? So we will have this here, force frequency. There's force frequency. There's the world frequency. That's us. You know what I mean? So, and this center line here will be the veil. So the force frequency that goes steady. Okay? Whereas our world frequency is very erratic. So what happens is you have these points of correspondence where it would meet here. The vibrational frequency aligns, it peaks and touches. Same as right here. That's why they're not constantly open. So the resonating frequency from the forest or the mirror realm versus the worldly frequency will line up in certain areas at certain times. And when these vibrational frequencies align and harmonize, that's when you would have your portals opening. The cryptid beings that use these as a means of transferring their different states know how to use their vibrational pull to align with this frequency to cause these to open. But whenever they go through a portal, people think they're going bull hockey. They are in the same space. They're inches away. They're just in a state of vibrational frequency that you can no longer see.
Oh, wow.
That's how that actually works. Now, another thing that you would see in the field would be tree breaks. There's your breaks, and you have your bends. These also act like tuning forks. Like if you think of a pyramid, the discoveries they made in pyramids were the shafts where they had those different size sticks that would go up the shaft to change the octaves of the frequencies going up the shaft. They're like tuning forks. Same thing as these breaks and these bends in the woods. So what they do though, did you ever notice whenever natural circumstances occur, whenever that bends or when you have a tree break, it's obviously it was shattered. You have splinters all over it. But then when you see a squatchy type, it'll look like taffy, like it was rolled and molded over or easily bent over. You know why? When a higher vibrational being touches this wood, it causes what is, I'm trying to think of what it was called. It's molecular. It's called molecular softening of the atomic bond. So for a split second or a moment, to where this being would come in contact with this wood, the molecular structure of it separates, almost like thermal expansion in a sense. You know, when you heat things up, the molecules spread apart.
Yeah.
Through higher vibration, your heat temperature would rise. Same deal, which allows them to mold them. You take a piece of taffy, you throw it in the freezer, and you try to bend it, it's going to snap.
Yeah.
You heat that same piece of taffy up, you can mold it any way you want. Same difference. It's based on vibration. That's how they do that. So those are primarily, in a sense to say, tuning forks. Yeah.
Got it. I understand that. It makes sense too. Somebody had a question, Josh. Well, two people do.
I might have an answer.
Let's see.
Might.
Dan wanted to know about dimensional travel when you were talking about vibration and stuff with the orbs.
Okay, what about dimensional travel?
I don't know. I guess he weren't.
See, what happens is, all right, well, whenever they would cross this threshold through the veil, all right, a lot of people think that they're going miles away, they're going to different lands. It's just not so. These parallel realms, universes, beyond the veil, whatever you want to call it, they overlap with ours. There's different realities all piled upon. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So they're in the same space. It's just like, for instance, when you look at a ghost, you know, a reenactment of, say, something from the Civil War. You go to out there. What's that major battlefield area out there near Gettysburg? People see soldiers from that era, the ghosts of them, still carrying their duties upon, right?
Mhm.
You go into a haunted location, those apparitions are repeating what they were doing, but they're still in that same spot, right?
Mhm.
Same difference. They are on a different vibrational plane, but they are yet occupying the same space, but you do not see that realm of that space.
Get it.
It's layered.
Yep. And then Covenant Curiosities. Cindy wanted to know.
That's a nice person.
Yeah. Could you see that?
How come?
How did you come to your findings or theories?
19 years of research. This has come to me through actual field studies. This is through studying different texts, like ancient texts, like Sumerian texts, studying the Kabbalion, all different things of that nature, the Corpus Romanicum, and then also through things that I'm kind of ashamed to say, harmonic induction. As years went on, I've been interacting with these species for over 19 years. It took 12 years for them to get to like me. And after they imprinted with me, things took a weird shift. They were able to use harmonic induction on me where they actually teach me things. I know it sounds stupid, it sounds abstract. You can call me BS all you want, but it is what it is. I don't like talking about harmonic induction because then you're labeled the weird schizophrenic dude. But a lot of the stuff that I learned, not only have I learned from ancient books, I have also learned directly from the Sasquatch species themselves. And harmonic induction is what they would call mind speak. That's another form of vibration. Now, in mind speak, the way that would work is you take two tuning forks, the same frequency, and you nail them. They resonate in harmony. Two different types of tuning forks, and you hit them both, they're not going to align. See, what happens is when you're able to, they're able to meet the alignment of your vibrational frequency if they choose to. And if they choose to resonate with your vibrational frequency, they can literally harmonically induce their conscience into yours. It's like They're not talking to you. You're literally hearing their thoughts. They're embedding into your brain what they want you to know. It's called harmonic induction. I don't like talking about that though because people think it's weird.
I don't think you're weird. So things in this world are not as they seem. I know that. So, and then she also want to know what are some of the things they would say.
To me, give me images of geometrics, things of that nature, certain words, phrases, and then I would take what they give me and I would go research on it and look it up. Like I've heard Opsu, um, I've heard Lulu, and I didn't know when I heard Lulu. I'm like, man, is that your name? That's a chick name. No,
Mhm.
when you dig into the Sumerian text, Lulu is what the Sasquatches really are.
Mhm.
And
I
the
knew that. I've
oldest
heard you say
text,
that.
5,800 years ago, they were called the Lulu and stuff like
All
that.
right.
It's just subtle hints you put into your head, and then it's your job to dig.
Um, Diddy had another question. Um, he wanted to know what would a light be in the test area chakra energy? Maybe it's not an orb; it's just a bright light.
Wait, what?
Here, I'll
Oh,
pop
it
it back in.
disappeared.
I got you.
What would a light in the chest area chakra be? I guess that's your aura. See, like I said, I don't claim to know everything. You know, I'm not going to BS you if I don't know it. I'll be
Right.
straight up with you. That could be your aura, your resonating energy.
Here's you another one. Can you see that?
What happens if you were gifted a tuning fork V
Y
stick?
stick.
Because I have.
It's a Y. It's a Y stick
What
he
would I
has.
do if I
No,
had
what he
tuning
would.
fork?
Yeah.
Well, they're
No,
used
he
for
got
healing.
gifted that from. He got gifted those from a Sasquatch. They're
Oh,
sticks. They look like a
cool,
Y. Mm-hmm.
cool.
What do you
I
think that
guess that
means?
I don't know. I mean, that could have something to do with frequency. It could also mean something else. I mean, they used to give me bundles of sticks, but those were for me to fuel my fire when I go in the woods to interact with them. They've given me a hagstone, and I've never tested it, but they say that with hagstones, you're supposed to look to them and be able to see through the veil. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know everything. I ain't gonna lie. If I don't know, I don't know. I'm not gonna BS you. But different shapes and geometrics hold different frequencies.
Oh no, Josh. All right. Is he stuck or me? Cindy, Dan, somebody. Never, never an episode without technical problems. Josh. Okay. He's gone. Okay. All right. Let's see if he comes back on. We'll just wait for a second. See if he comes back on. He might have just lost the signal for a second. Yep. Let me see if he's back in. Nope. Man, I hope he connects because there he is. Hey.
So we lost connection for a minute.
Yeah, I'm so glad he came back because I am so interested in this. All right. So you guys were just talking about stuff they give you, and you really don't know what it means sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I like I said, I'm not going to BS people. If I don't know, I don't know. I'm not one of
Right.
those guys who's going to try to fake it to make it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to give you a
Hmm.
BS excuse, and if I don't know, I don't know. I'm not like that.
Right. That's how it should be.
Like I said, I'm not an expert. You know, people go on there, they do a couple years of research, and they think they're experts, and they're all mighty about it. No, I've been at this for over 19 years, and I'm no expert. I'm not going to lie. I never claimed to
Nobody
be an
is.
expert.
No.
I know what
But
I know.
people that do claim to be an expert need to calm down because there's so much to learn in this. You could never even begin to understand everything and be an expert on anything in this field because it's so, but you're still learning. That's why we do what we do. We're sharing
Yeah,
information to learn from each other, you know? So that's that. But yeah, we appreciate that so much because that's how everything should be. It shouldn't be answering people if you don't know, you know? So that's great.
yeah.
Keep it cool.
Like I said, I'm not going to sit there and play pretend. I can't do that to people. That's not right. I wouldn't want no one doing that to me. And you see that too
Exactly.
much on interviews, way too
Yeah.
much. And I catch people on it all the time, and it makes me mad when I see that.
Yep. Me too. It upsets me too. But that's why we're buddies because we know what's up. So, um, I need to go watch your video that you did today. That really blew my mind what you sent me this morning about those.
Oh my god.
What
I've
in the
been
world?
giddy all morning. Like my wife was at the point where she's just like, dude, shut up. I'm sick of it.
I was
I was
loving
so
it.
giddy all day over that.
I mean, you can share it a little bit if you want, but you don't have to because you just put a video. You can
Man,
tell people where you're
I
at.
left that notebook in the house. All right. Um I as I said, I study a lot of ancient texts, you know, like Sumerian and like the Popol Vuh, old Mayan stuff. I study all that stuff, and I make the connections of what the different cryptid species were. Like, for instance, when you look at the crawlers, the pale crawlers, that everyone's scared of, right? The ones that
Hmm.
go when they're hunting.
Hmm.
Well, check this out. Oh, my cat come running. Now, they were originally called the Igigi.
Hmm.
They were here before the Anunnaki were here, and they were used as cultivators of the land. They was digging the rivers. They were digging in the mountains, moving rock, and this and that and the other. And what happened was the Igigi, they wouldn't accept payment for nothing. But they became broken. The sunlight hurt their skin because of their complexion. They worked themselves to the bone. And I don't remember if it was 40 years or 200 years. It was one or the other. Sometimes I get numbers mixed up. So I can't give you a definite number, but they revolted back with the Anunnaki and they rebelled. They were like, yo, dude, you know, we're out here busting our behinds. We're done. Screw you. And they burnt all their tools. So what happened was the Anunnaki mixed their essence with one of their blood. And that is what created the next species to take on the workload. This species was more robust. They were insulated, so they were covered in hair. They were muscular. They were huge, so they could move these rocks and everything. They were called the Lulu. The Lulu are what we would call the Sasquatches. And then Tiamat, another type of goddess through those epics, which would be in the Unuma Lish, she created a monster called the Ur-Uldim, which today, well, if you go into the medieval period, they call them cynocephalus. These days, we'd call them dogmen. Now, they are a hierarchy. Your Gigi rule over your Sasquatches or the Lulu, and your Sasquatches rule over the Uridim or the Dogmen. It's a cryptid hierarchy. A lot of people can't accept that. They argue it, but it is what it is. It's
Right.
written the same over all these different epics. The Gilgamesh, the Astrothetis, Isis, the Popol Vuh, the Enuma Elish. They are all across the ancient text. The same exact hierarchy, the same exact order of creation, except different names from different regions.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been studying really deeply into the Sumerian. So I learned how to write Agigi. I learned how to write Lulu. I learned how to write, Uridim, and I learned how to write pretty much human in a sense, which the word for human was Weelu, Weelu or something like that. And I learned how to write friend, which is Kulai in the language. It would be Kulai. But I learned how to write this. So I wrote it down on my on a notebook, and every night I come out here to the back and I acknowledge these species. And I call them the ancient ones, and I acknowledge them every couple weeks. I come out here and I feed them. Matter of fact, my gifting plot is right there. Blue Ben over there. Isn't it? Yeah. I put their gifts on there every 2 weeks. So I came out here. I walked up over here. It was down there. There was one here. Started moving over there. So I held the text up over my head so they would see it. I acknowledged them in those names. And I reiterated, obviously they know I'm their friend. I've been dealing with them for so long. When I woke up
Right.
this morning to get a cigarette, because I have kids in my house, I got 2 kids. I don't smoke in my house. I'm not going to contaminate my children's lungs. So I went out for my morning cigarette. I'm out there. I'm scratching my behind, lighting my cigarette. And I look over by the steps of the porch and I'm like, what the hell is that? There's a stick cliff on my porch. I'm looking at it. I'm cocking my head. I'm like, what the hell? So then I go back in and I pull up the Sumerian alphabet and this and that and the other, and it was an actual response to what I had written on my notebook that I displayed to them. It was an actual stick cliff response. I was so giddy. They
Me too.
acknowledged it.
I was
Like they
loving that.
literally acknowledged what I said to them. And roundabout way of what that glyph was saying was that we stand in alliance. We are under the same canopy, meaning that we watch the same moon. When they say canopy, under the same firmament. And it was beautiful. And I was just like giddy all day over it. And I wouldn't shut up about it. And I think I was annoying my wife with it.
I was excited this morning when you sent me that picture. I was like, oh my goodness, because I knew you did
I
that
was so
last night.
geeked. I was like half asleep, and I was like, I need to make a video.
That's awesome.
I actually made a video on it. I released it today.
I couldn't even believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, they left a thing on his porch. So, and it does look like what you put on that notebook, one of the letters or
It
whatever.
was very
That's really cool.
similar, but totally different, like structure.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to see this, Josh, you want to tell your socials where you posted that and stuff?
I am SquatchTopic P.A. You can find me on YouTube. That's my main platform. But I ain't gonna lie. Okay. I put everything on there. Like if it's on my SD card, it goes on there. So I got surveillance videos. I have experiments I do. Like my latest experiment was the Black Obsidian Mirror, which was pretty cool.
Mirror. Yeah,
I mean,
it was cool.
my Gen 2 night vision on part 1 of the Gen 2 night vision there was orbs coming in and out of those mirrors. And the one touched my behind and flew away. You seen it.
I did.
That was pretty
Oh,
wild. But
cracks me up.
I got a lot on that channel. I have over 1,000 videos on my channel. I didn't want to go on social media, but people were seeing the stuff I was posting on Facebook groups, and they begged me to start my channel. So okay. So also I'm on TikTok, but I'm kind of about to pull the plug on TikTok for myself because I you know how when you do your videos on there they have on this day.
Yeah.
I had a short clip of Sasquatches vocalizing. And would you believe they muted it and said it was a community violation? I
Um,
did
I
a
believe,
gear. I did a thing where I was showing what gear I was going to use for an experiment. And they flagged it and muted it. There was zero audio on it. So I just removed it. So all my stuff goes on YouTube. If it's on an
yeah.
SD card, it's not going on TikTok. I guarantee you that. Only what I make from my phone goes on TikTok.
Yeah,
And
because
also, I have the SquatchTopic P.A. on Facebook. But as you know, in the Bigfoot community, you have trolls left and right. So it's a private group. If you want to come into my group, you have to ask. Sorry, I don't like trolls.
right,
Because I'm a jagoff when it comes to jerks. You know what I mean? I'm a prick when it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't like people like that.
as you should
Bullying
be.
people for what they've seen or whatnot.
Right.
I don't go for that.
I'm with you on that 100%. And TikTok too, they're ridiculous. You know, you were there, the He-Man thing. We got suspended
Oh
over
my
that.
god, man! I was showing y'all field pictures. Like I have
I know.
files. It's a collection of photos and some videos, like from night vision and stuff like that. Like you could ask Jen what my my I got some very very pristine
Yes, he does.
footage.
Hmm.
Matter of fact, if she wants, we can go live another time, and I'll sit at my computer, and bring my files up, and show them. But we can't put it on TikTok. Oh no!
Nope.
I've had 2 violations. The one was from that stupid He-Man toy I gifted him. It was a Grizzlord toy, and that's that dude that was covered in hair. On a gifting table, I had that dude with a GI Joe shaking hands, and it was one of my earliest gifts I gave them.
Hmm.
And they played with them for months. I'd always find these two toys together, and then one day he broke its arm off accidentally, so they split the seam down the front of it and opened it up like a squirrel almost. I guess they wanted to see
Hmm.
what was on the inside. Didn't work out too well, but it didn't have no muscle structure, nothing like He-Man or Skeletor do. It was just flat plastic. We got a nudity violation.
Yep.
Then another time, I showed pictures of a female Sasquatch I call Chaka. Yes, she has breasts, so obviously I got a nudity thing.
They're ridiculous.
So I don't like posting too much on TikTok no more.
Mm-mm. Not me either. I get in trouble all the time for stupidness. I mean, somebody will say something in my comments and I'm getting restricted, and I'm like, gosh, they didn't even say anything offensive or they just be making up stuff as they
It's
go
like you
along, I
gotta
think.
speak in code, just like when I was talking about why the hunt had changed. Remember when I released that video?
Hmm.
They flagged me on that because I
Ridiculous.
explained why the dogman attack has been on the rise since 2021. I
It
know
wasn't
why
working.
because the Squatchers let me know why.
Hmm.
So I tried to
100%.
inform the people, and
Yeah,
TikTok flagged me on it.
yeah, they did. Didn't they yank your video like immediately when you said that?
Yeah. Like
Yep.
it took me almost a week to get them to accept it back. But by that time, you have that viewing period. Once you release a video, there's a period that people will see it, and then after that it peters off. Then
Hmm.
if they actually want to see it, they gotta go through your profile to find it because it leaks away from the algorithm.
Hmm.
If
I
you
know.
guys want to know why the dog man attacks have been up, go on my YouTube channel. The video is called Why the Hunt Has Changed.
Hmm. It's a very interesting video. So you guys go
I
over there and
also
check
have
that out.
Beyond the Shimmer, which shows you an active portal, and I explain the entire phase from beginning all the way to the end. Like I have a lot of good stuff on there. It's just when you open the video up, my first card, opening card, where it says SquatchTopic P.A, there'll be a line underneath of it. It'll tell you what kind of video it is. Like if it says surveillance, if you don't want to sit there and watch nothing happening for an hour, don't watch surveillance videos. Plain and simple. If something
Right.
happens in that surveillance video, I'll throw it in a short.
Um,
But
can
yeah,
you
my
say
surveillance
YouTube
videos suck.
one more time with the YouTube channel, please?
SquatchTopic P.A.
Yep. He's got great videos on there.
If you go on my channel, go on my playlist. I have an educational list. I have a master series is what I'm working on. That's what Jen likes. Um,
I do.
I didn't do my mentalism video yet. I'm sorry. My kid's been sick with strep throat. Got to be a
Aw.
dad before I make videos. But I
Absolutely.
have different playlists pertaining to different specific subjects.
Mhm. Yeah, and I appreciate you putting them out because I've learned so much stuff from you.
I'm
You know,
glad.
that a lot of things I knew about was actually misinformation. So I've learned a lot. And you have an open invitation to come back on here anytime you want on Creepy Culture and talk about whatever you want because I'm ready to listen to it. So
Well, I think next time we should do a video or a photo slideshow, and we could tell the stories behind the photos. I don't know.
we
Your
can do
your
that because
your
all you
fans
have to do
might
is
like that.
send them to Creepy Culture and I can upload them on my laptop and I can show them on the screen while we're talking. Like I can show the
I
pictures.
sent you the photos a while back. All my files,
Yeah,
my cast, my dogman, my squatch, my sightings.
they're in my phone. I have to have you send them to the email so I can download them on my laptop. Or I could have sent them there, but I didn't know you wanted to show any of those, or I could have sent them to myself and
Well, today
download
was
them.
about vibration, so I left it at that. But next time we could do that, and I'll let you pick the photos, and we can
Okay,
go off of them, and I'll tell you the story behind them.
I love it. I appreciate you coming on, Josh, and sharing all this information. I really appreciate
I'm
it. Like I
grateful you
said,
had me.
I learned so much stuff from you. You're just great, and I appreciate it a lot. Um, yeah, but next time we'll do whatever you want. If you want to show that stuff, we'll do whatever you want. It's fine with me. And maybe then I
I
can
hate when
figure out
people go on someone's show and they say, "Oh, I got the best pictures," and then you look at them and you're like this. What am I looking at?
oh,
My photos. I don't show blob squatches. I refuse. I refuse. I got pictures of them sitting right next to me, like how I'm sitting in this chair. It would be sitting
yep,
right next to me on the ground,
he
not
really
10
does.
feet away, next to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Matter of
he
fact, I
does.
posted those pictures in my video that I just did recently, the Covenant of the Ridge.
Mhm.
That tells the whole story of my interactions with these beings and how it came to where it is today.
Yeah, and I know that was a lot for you because it took them 12 years to even like you.
They used to booby trap me, man. I had things go the whole way through the bottom of my shoe and out the top. Those things put me in the hospital several times.
That's awful.
They threw poop at me. I've had
I
poop
believe
hit
that.
me in my face and wrap the whole way around and leave a big bruise from a big old turd the size of your foot.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry I'm laughing. It's just so funny where you just said
I wore body armor in the woods because they were throwing rocks the size of dinner plates because I was flipping them off, calling them inbreds and this and that and the other. I didn't know what they were. That was
man,
the old days, though.
that's not no joke when they throw rocks because sometimes
Oh,
they're
I
really big.
know. They want to hit you. They will.
I know. Thank God they didn't want to hit me because that would have probably split my whole ass head open if they would have hit. Probably killed me. That rock was huge. It was like football size, and they whizzed it too. They threw it hard.
You know,
So
to give you a hint on how precise they are, I was live streaming one day on YouTube, and I have this rig. It's a light, and it has a Bruce by a turd. It has a Picatinny row on it, and I had my full spectrum camera on it. I had IR illuminators, and I giggled. I was like, "Hey guys, I could turn my lights off, go total darkness, and record if I kick on my IR illuminators." The moment I said that, a rock came flying down and blew my IR illuminators right off the rig and broke them. To
Damn.
hit a box this big, sitting on top of a camera setup and not hit me, it literally took my illuminators clean off of my setup. And then while I'm sitting there trying to fix my stuff and reconnect it, you look up through the foliage, you can see the eyes looking at me, watching me, trying to fix my stuff, just sitting there watching me. Jag
That is
off.
seriously accurate. You know it? Yeah, they're here, I'll show you this. Cindy went and subscribed to your YouTube and Facebook. So
I
thank you
will
for
go
that.
on my, after this is done, I will go on my Facebook and check for anybody who's trying to come in. I'll accept everybody who comes in, but the moment I see some jerky stuff or bullying, I kick you out.
Absolutely. Nobody's got time for that stuff. We're all trying to learn here. We don't have time for people being dumbasses, basically.
That's
I'll just
right.
say it. hmm
I
So,
don't like bullies, man.
me either. And I don't like people discrediting other people's encounters or, their
Well,
research.
the way I
Makes
view it is, um, have you seen the god that you worship? No, you haven't seen your deity. So how are you going to dog me for seeing something that you've never seen? Just because you never
exactly
seen it doesn't mean it ain't there.
truth. That is truth. You're right. Yep. So, this was so much fun. I have to have you back on. So, I will be messaging you on
Well, the
Facebook and
next
we'll
one I'm
figure
going to
out
be
what we'll
doing
do
is going to
next time.
be Trisha's show.
Yeah.
We're going to be scheduling for sometime
Monsters Unleashed.
for
Yeah.
Monsters Unleashed. Yeah,
Yeah. Trisha's going to get a hold of you and schedule you for that. So,
I told her I want her dad on in one of the boxes while we're up there because he's cool.
yeah, he'll be on there. Uh, she's just the one that, Trisha schedules all the interviews and stuff. So, she's going to get a hold of you.
She's
She's
cool.
busy
I
with
like her.
family. She's way cool. I like her too. We all stand for the same thing, and that's who I try to surround myself with in this cryptid community. So,
And I'm extremely hard to get to come on a show. I am. I don't like
I know.
talking. I'm really not a people person.
Me either.
I'm very, very hard. Like NCI got a hold of me. The only reason I went on his show, which he turned out to be really cool, was
Yeah, they're.
because he was affiliated with y'all.
Mhm,
When I'm on TikTok and I see Trish live, I hop on there with her because y'all are cool.
mhm,
Like I've gone on shows and they've tried to make a joke out of me, and I just want to flip them off, and I can't do that because it tarnishes my image. But
that's all.
so I'm very particular on whose show I go on. If I don't know you, you ain't getting me, buddy.
I'm not going on any more podcasts either. So, and it's not because I got bullied or anything like that. I'm just going to focus on having people on mine to share their research and experiences, and that's
Well,
it.
I got bullied because the squatches in my area have 6 toes.
It happens. They
So
do
I
that.
got bullied over
Sometimes
that.
they got three.
They literally bullied me. I was like, it's my fault what their anatomy is.
No. Sometimes they have four. Sometimes they have five. They're all different. So people just don't understand. You have to have such an open mind to come into this that if you don't, you might as well just hang it up because there's so much weird stuff. The truth is stranger than anything. I'm telling you.
It's stranger than fiction.
Mhm. It really is. But I've took up enough of your time today. I know you got stuff to do and everything, but I appreciate you coming on so much.
I'm
And
gonna go
whenever you
watch
feel
Grey's
like it,
Anatomy.
I know you are. You and Jessica be watching the crap out of that show. That's awesome.
Well, I don't really watch too much TV, especially after those Epstein files came out. I
Oh
quit
yeah.
listening to a lot of music. I quit watching a lot of Hollywood movies. I'm not going to support those kind of people. So there's a couple things I like to watch. So me and my wife sit back and watch certain things. Grey's Anatomy is
Grey's
one of them.
Anatomy. I know, because you're all the time like, I got to go watch Grey's Anatomy. And he said, great job, Josh.
That's our thing every night. Put the kids to bed, go watch Grey's Anatomy, the
Yes.
practice, and we rotate them.
Yes. But thank you guys in chat for being here and asking questions and talking with us. Thank you again, Josh. We'll plan for the next one
Thank you
whenever.
for having me. You're such a wonderful individual.
Thank you, Josh. I think the same thing about you. I think you're awesome. So I appreciate you coming on. I learned so much stuff from you all the time because, we chat a lot on Facebook. So I'm constantly learning. And if something comes up and I'm like, what is this? I ask Josh. Josh explains it to me like I'm a 5-year-old where I can understand it. And it's awesome. So
if you want to learn about these species, you have to hit the ancient manuscripts and know what you're reading. Plain and simple.
It's true. And no better person to explain that to you so you can understand it like Josh. Because Josh, he knows his shit. So appreciate it so much. But have a good night. Have fun watching Grey's Anatomy with your wife. Thank you guys in chat for being here, and we'll see you guys next time.
Love.
Thanks.
Peace and squad streets. Toodles.
Yes. Toodles. I was waiting on that. All right, I'll play this, and I'll see you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
Voices rising from below. Secrets only few will know. You're not crazy, you're not alone. This is where the truth comes home. Welcome to the dark side. Step into the fear. Creepy culture's live. The truth is finally here. Lights down low now. Let the mystery speak.